And meanwhile, you have these world-famous CEOs of these highly influential tech companies who are running around, and racing for the ability to alter our bodies with devices that could serve to connect us to the internet or the virtual world, in which everything is subject to the will of the world's programmers. And you will be living in this augmented version of reality that's being altered and filtered and censored in real time, like we talked about in part 2 of this video. And if you don't believe me about the link between this coming chip and virtual reality, well then just take it from this more professional seeming person.
And I think the second thing is, let's look 8 to 10 years from now and consider a space where we can use chips in our bodies to move augmented reality around ourselves, to actually use it within the workplace, through gestures, through our hands, through our whole bodies, without having to wear the wearables of today, the glasses of today. And maybe that's...
And so to accept one of these things into your body, or AKA your temple, and to allow these companies to artificially augment your perception of reality, and to accept this knowingly, I can see how this could easily be interpreted as a mark of commitment to the beast system, or a mark of allegiance to a worldly and godless system. And so now that we've covered the topics of digital identity and virtual reality and how all these things kind of fit under the umbrella of this coming microchip revolution, we've finally arrived at the last example of creepy technology from Mr. Gates' portfolio. And it's not actually a product, at least not yet. It's merely a patent application that was officially filed by Microsoft shortly before Bill's departure. And the technology that's described in this patent, it seems more like an excerpt from the Book of Revelation than it does a viable product that could soon be available for use. But alas, here we are, and this is real. So what you're looking at here is the patent application for a new product being developed by Microsoft, titled Cryptocurrency System Using Body Activity Data. And your eyes are not tricking you here. The publication number is WO 2020-06-06-06.
Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
And now it just so happens that for unrelated reasons, I have recently learned a lot about patent law and intellectual property, as well as patent filing procedures. And I can tell you that this publication number is assigned by the USPTO office at the initial time of publishing. The WO here stands for World Intellectual Property Organization, and it's short for WIPO. 2020 stands for the year that it was published. And now the 060606, which could also be mathematically phrased as 666, well, that's anybody's guess. I mean, I would assert that he who hath understanding should note this particular number, because look at what it's attached to here. Because based on the description and title alone of this product, we're looking at the first stage of what could become a new economic system by which money is directly attached to the individual, and the individual is directly attached to the larger system. And then, as if our lockdown hadn't dismantled our cash-based economy enough, then they hit us with the alleged coin shortage, and all the major companies began promoting pay-on-your-phone apps and other clever options to discourage cash and to encourage credit. And then at this point, you're just buying things with membership points and reward vouchers. And so if you even have as much spiritual discernment as a jellyfish, you could probably make the connection between the advent of this cryptocurrency and the coming mark, which will enable mankind to spend and receive money directly to their identity, without ever touching a coin or opening a wallet. And as this documentary series has hopefully sufficiently demonstrated, there's only one contender for this future utilization of these interpersonal technologies, and it's a chip. It could be in your hand, it could be in your brain. Eventually people will probably have both. Because as the remaining pieces of our lives and history are systematically digitized and then stored into this World Wide Web, or perhaps this worldwide spider web, a permanent connection to this online world will eventually become a necessity, and then it will become a requirement. So let's look at this together. So the description reads as follows. Human body activity associated with a task provided to a user may be used in a mining process of a cryptocurrency system. A server may provide a task to a device of a user which is communicatively coupled to the server. A sensor communicatively coupled to or comprised in the device of the user may sense body activity of the user. Body activity data may be generated based on the sensed body activity of the user. The cryptocurrency system that's communicatively coupled to the device of the user may verify if the body activity data satisfies one or more conditions set by the cryptocurrency system, and award cryptocurrency to the user whose body activity data is verified. So patent language can be pretty difficult. It's intentionally ambiguous for the purpose of covering a broad scope of ideas and options and potential variations that the inventor may choose to add later on in the development process. But as you pick through this description, it's saying that this will be a system that financially rewards the user for completing unspecified tasks. And if you read through this entire filing, which is pretty big, it does include some examples of these tasks, which include watching an advertisement or listening to a song in full or reading a news article or possibly uploading content to a website. Because I guess in a future where AI computers and robots do the majority of the work, what else are we supposed to do to make a buck, other than sit around being distracted by the media all day? And something tells me that videos like this one would not provide that same monetary incentive. And so people would be rewarded for watching and hearing and speaking and doing the right thing, and consuming specific content. And what is the right thing according to a cryptocurrency mining system? Well, it's whatever pays out. And what pays out in media? Well, whatever's corporate funded. And so in the end, your life becomes dominated by a necessity to consume more and more worldly and sinful content while scoring points towards your social credit score. And I'm not necessarily saying that this describes worshiping the beast, but it certainly fits my understanding at least. But finally, does this patent have anything to do with a microchip or a mark of some kind? Well, to be honest, I'm not really sure. No, it doesn't mention the word microchip or tag or biochip or anything like that. But it uses something that is only listed with the generic name sensor. And despite the fact that Snopes and other fraudulent fact-checking sites continue to dismiss this possibility, claiming that the patent clearly lists things like smartphones and computers and tablets as examples for the user device. And yeah, you'll need some kind of device with an interface to interact with the system to observe the data from the sensor, but that's the thing. What is the sensor? Let's look at the diagram. Item 130 is the user device, and the user device connects to the cloud network, which connects to the cryptocurrency system here on the right. And then number 110 on the left here represents the task which has been assigned to the user. And the sensor down here is what connects the user to the user device. But as I said before, the patent is cunningly vague in its description of the sensor. So we'll find the sensor over here on the description page and see what it says. Sensor may be a separate component from user device and be operably and communicatively connected to user device. Alternatively, sensor may be included and integrated in user device. For example, user device may be a wearable device having sensor 140 therein. The sensor 140 may transmit information or data to user device. Sensor may include, for example, but not limited to, functional magnetic resonance imaging, scanners or sensors, EEG sensors, near-infrared spectroscopy sensors, heart rate monitors, thermal sensors, optical sensors, radio frequency sensors, ultrasonic sensors, cameras, or any other sensor or scanner that can measure or sense body activity or scan a human body. For example, the fMRI may measure body activity by detecting changes associated with blood flow. The fMRI may use a magnetic field and radio waves to create detailed images of the body, like blood flow in the brain to detect areas of activity. And it goes on. But as you can see, this sensor instrument is pretty intimately attached to the human. So this leaves the door wide open for how this sensor part will actually be implemented. It says it could be attached to a wearable device, or it could be external from the user device. But if it's not a microchip, is it even possible for this thing to not eventually be integrated into a microchip? It's designed to measure every bit of activity from your body. Your blood flow, your heart rate, your muscle tension, concentration level. Come on. And it also interacts with your brain and even measures your thoughts. Look what it says down here. It says examples of body radiation emitted from human body may include radiant heat of the body, pulse rate, or brainwave. Brainwave may comprise, for example, but not limited to, gamma waves, involved in learning or memory tasks, beta waves, involved in logical thinking and or conscious thought, alpha waves, which may be related to subconscious thoughts, theta waves, which may be related to thoughts involving deep and raw emotions, and delta waves, which may be involved in sleep or deep relaxation. So this thing is literally reading your mind. It's measuring your brain activity. And seemingly it's designed to distinguish between raw emotions, like your deepest fears or greatest regrets or anxieties or desires. And I don't know, this thing is getting a little too personal for me. And I think it goes without saying that this thing is also going to be tracking your GPS location as well. But anyways, despite my best research, I can't figure out exactly what this sensor is. However, in summary, if I was a more cynical person, I would say that this all sounds like a plan to enslave humanity, you know? I mean, if we were to go through with this idea, how long would it take before citizens are not only rewarded for conducting encouraged behaviors, but also penalized for discouraged behaviors? I mean, this is crazy, guys. I don't know. It requires more research. And if there was ever something that I'd encourage you to research yourself, it might be this patent. I mean, I've only discussed a small portion of what you'll find in there, and it is absolutely nuts. But I gotta end this video soon because my brain is really starting to hurt over here, to be honest. And so I think that we've covered enough for now, although in reality we've just scratched the surface of what's really going on behind this particular agenda. And frankly, if you're still not concerned about the intentions behind these emerging microchip technologies, even after considering all this information that I just presented, then I suspect you probably never will. Because you might be waiting for the media or the so-called experts to confirm or deny the stuff that I'm saying, and only then will you believe it. Well, that day is not coming, my friend. Because if what I'm saying is true, then the media is largely complicit in all of this. So you're going to get as much honesty from them as a judge gets from a lawyer. You know, do not expect transparency on this topic. I guess you just got to figure this one out for yourself. But if you ever find yourself doubting or questioning if you believe what you're hearing from these so-called experts, just remember this.
That technology doesn't even exist, and he's never uttered the words out of his mouth, so...